Hello again, everybody. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about the transit moon making a square opposition or inconjunct to one's natal Venus. Now, when we're talking about transits that involve the moon, it can be one's transits that can be very emotional. It's about our feelings, our needs, our responses, reactions, and even the public. Now, when you have the transit moon basically making an adverse aspect to the natal Venus, it's really this could be about your emotions, your feelings, your needs, responses, reactions, and even matters pertaining to the public may conflict with your love life, your relationships. You might not feel like having a relationship or love life at this time. It might be you're just not really in the mood for it. Remember, the moon is connected with our moods. And the thing about this, though, keep in mind, I mean, the transit does not last very long. On average, it's about 10 hours. If you're using a 3-degree applying aspect and a 2-degree separating aspect, I mean, that's 5 degrees total. And the moon, of course, traverses about 1 degree every 2 hours, roughly. So you're looking at about a 10-hour transit. In many instances, this will happen during the time you're asleep, and it's kind of ironic because the moon is connected with the unconscious. And the thing about this is also, I mean, when you look at this transit, since the moon is connected, to feelings, what we need, and Venus is about money. It might be a thing at this time where you feel like you just don't really have that need. It might be in terms of generating income, or you don't really you don't really feel like making money, even if it's a time of the day when you're supposed to be out doing something in terms of generating income. Say if you're a door-to-door salesman, a lot of this, in the transit, sometimes it's better if you're able to wait till the transit ends. In terms of doing things of a monetary nature, you may want to wait till then in order to do so. Now, Venus is also connected with our values. So it might be at this time where matters pertaining to the moon, your family, your home life, women that are prominent in your life scheme, people that you're close to home with, may simply be maybe you're not at this time, you're not really valuing them. It might be something where they're simply not, you're not seeing them as like a main priority. There might be other things that are taking priority or precedence at this time. Sometimes too, keep in mind that Venus is connected with our possessions as well. So it could be something where maybe it could be your mother, it could be a prominent family member, a prominent female in your life, someone you're close to home with. It might be having an adverse effect on your possessions at this time. It might be where they're a detractor as far as that goes. If you're somebody that's really into the accumulation of possessions, it could be a time where the people in your that are prominent, in your home life or what have you, they might, matters pertaining to them might be conflicting with that at this time. If Venus is in Aquarius, it could be possessions that are astronomical or astrological. It could be computer, electronic items, or you just might not feel like using them at this time. Remember, again, the moon could be about our mood, our temperament, and how we feel, what we feel like doing. Venus is also associated with our resources. So it might be a time where we might be, maybe there's a time you might be emotionally upset regarding your resources. Maybe you feel like you don't have enough, or it's something where you don't have, it might be a situation where maybe matters with your home, your family life. Maybe they're tapping into your own resources, and you don't really, maybe you're having a problem with that. Now, when you look at Venus, it's also about peace. So some instances there might be some emotional upsetment that might be factoring into your peace and tranquility in your life at this time. Um, it could also be a time to, I mean, Venus, it's interesting because the moon is about our feelings, our emotions, but Venus could also be about our sentiments. You might simply not feel like expressing your sentiments at this time, or it could be the mother, it could be you're close to home with a prominent family member, a prominent female in your life scheme, maybe expressing some sentiments that you are not really, appreciative of, at this time. It might be a situation to me when you look at Venus is also about art. So if you're somebody that's into art, and say Venus is in Pisces, it might be abstract art or some kind of fictional or fantasy art. You might even be drawing, things that are just fantastical is what I would call them. That are fantasy related, something with the imagination. It might be where you just simply don't feel like doing it at this time. There might be matters pertaining to the home that they're taking priority or conflicting with this. Now, anatomically speaking, Venus is connected to the throat, the neck, the thyroid, the lower back, and kidneys. So it could be a time for you where these things might be causing a little bit more emotional irritation if you have any problems with this to begin with. Um, it could be a time, I could say maybe a family member might be a figurative pain in the neck at this time. I'm really being flippant and facetious with that. But it could be a time again where there might be a little bit more, sensitivity to those areas at this time. If there is an existing issue, I would say, especially remember, this is not. I don't see this as an overly significant transit because this transit only lasts about 10 hours on average. You're going to experience a lot of these transits during during the course of the year. They are very frequent. You're going to have, I mean, you're going to have two squares, one opposition and two inconjuncts, roughly, every 28 days or so. So, I mean, these transits are really not, something to really become really that worrisome over, but they are still adverse aspects. Now, another way this may manifest, remember, the Venus is about our attractiveness as well. You might feel at time, even if you are an attractive person, maybe you just don't feel attractive at this time. Uh, it might be a situation too. Venus is also connected with legal matters and lawsuits. So it might be a situation where in some cases there you might be, something could happen, in theory, as far as maybe a lawsuit that might be home related, or it could be something connected, with a home or family member. It could be, I mean, say if Scorpio is involved, maybe there's some home renovation matter that didn't go well, in some isolated cases. But remember, this transit is not that long. These things would be very isolated, I would say, and it could be, you might, if you're trying to deal with a lawsuit, it could be matters, pertaining, to the home. Might have a conflict with that at this time. And also, another way this could manifest this transit, it could be, a family member, a mother, which is the moon, may adversely affect, your self-worth, your self-esteem, how you feel about yourself, which is Venus. Now, let's say Venus is in Capricorn as an example. It could be some issue, maybe your, as far as your self-esteem goes, it might be matters with your career, your stature in life, your reputation might be hurt. It could also be a time too when we look at this. I mean, the moon is also connected with our past, our memories. So it could be a situation where, I mean, your past memories, you know, might affect your, prospective relationships in some cases, which is Venus. Now, let's say if it's Leo and Scorpio are involved, it could be, the moon is, say if the moon transit moon is in Leo, could be a domineering, maybe past memories connected with a domineering attitude may conflict with having a very deep or non-superficial connection, which would be relationship, which would be Venus and Scorpio. Hold on a moment, people. Now, another thing too, how this could manifest, another possibility is that you might simply not feel like doing things that you value and enjoy. The moon could be about how we feel, our mood. Venus is about our enjoyment, things we value. Now, say if your natal Venus is in Gemini, as an example, it could be doing things connected with manual dexterity. It could be working on automobiles, vehicles, or it could be refrigeration mechanics. It could be doing something with sports. It might be badminton or table tennis, because those are sports that I would say could be Gemini sports. That would be involve quick reactions. Another thing too is that moon people, which of course could be the mother, prominent family member, someone you're close to home with, a prominent female in your life scheme. Those people might not be up for any kind of compromise at this time, or negotiation, which is Venus. Now, say if the natal Venus is in Libra, as an example, well, it might pertain to a legal matter. Um, it could be a situation too when you have, if if Venus is in Scorpio, it might be something connected with a credit card issue or some insurance or tax related matter. Um, and at the same time, this could be a time where you might, again, I'll reiterate what I said earlier, that you might be a little bit more sensitive, even more emotional in a Venus physical related matter at this time, more so than usual. If you do have an issue, especially if you have an existing issue that's associated with your throat, your neck, the thyroid, kidneys, the lower back. Um, and also remember that the moon is also connected with the left or the right eye, depending on gender. Venus, is about our enjoyment. It's about money. This transit does not last for that long, but there might be sometimes it could be a minor issue with an eye situation. It might impact your fun, your amusement, and enjoyment at this time, but it's always, again, this is not an overly significant transit. These transits happen very often throughout the years, and they don't land. The duration is not that long. But anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.